Donc, lors de la pandémie, je pense que la génomique a permis très rapidement de séquencer les premiers cas ici à Dakar, de pouvoir directement donner des orientations au niveau, aux autorités donc, sanitaires pour pouvoir prendre en charge en fait donc l'épidémie et donc pour pouvoir circonscrire. Et en même temps aussi, ça a permis de partager les données avec les pays un peu de l'Afrique de l'Ouest limitrophes en fait pour qu'eux à leur tour aussi puissent se préparer donc pour des actions de santé publique et pour circonscrire l'épidémie. Et dans ce même contexte, actuellement, avec l'épidémie de Rift également, la génomique a permis très rapidement de séquencer les souches donc, de Rift qui circulent, de pouvoir en fait donc donner des orientations aux autorités donc, sur le terrain pour pouvoir également répondre très rapidement à cette épidémie-là et donner des orientations donc, qui ont des visées en fait santé publique et donc pour circonscrire donc l'épidémie. Je pense que Africa PGI a vraiment permis de structurer l'activité génomique donc au sein de l'UPD en donnant en fait donc du matériel de pointe pour pouvoir augmenter les capacités, donc que ce soit les capacités en wet lab, en dry lab pour l'analyse bioinformatique, mais également ça a permis de pérenniser en fait donc l'emploi donc au niveau de la génomique en recrutant bien sûr des techniciens sur lesquels on les a formés qui devient une formation en cascade pour pouvoir bien répondre. Donc ça c'est un point important que le projet Africa PGI a permis en tout cas, mais également de pouvoir répondre en fait de façon très rapide aux différentes épidémies donc qui se mettent en place.
Since 2020, IPD was part of Africa PGI and became a genomic hub for SARS-CoV-2 genomic surveillance. And through this initiative, we covered tens of countries to support this surveillance. We generated the first sequences in Senegal, in Gambia, in Guinea-Bissau, and other countries. It was vital data that provide like clue and insight of importance for the stakeholders. So it was where the key point where started this big adventure, and it's only a few examples of what have we done with, through this initiative. When we talk about this initiative, we are thinking amid the outbreak of Rift Valley fever that is currently happening in Senegal. We generated 9 genome sequences that gave also public health insights for stakeholders that gave like support in terms of measures for remnant management or vector control. So definitely we have so many examples on how Africa PGI support IPD to help the stakeholders in Africa. To be honest, IPD became upgraded its sequencing capabilities thanks to Africa PGI. It was really a cornerstone. So we upgraded in terms of sequencing instruments, in terms of servers, in terms of people that are engaged in this activity. So it was really obvious that Africa PGI allowed us to move to another level. And thanks to that, we were able also to become like trainers of trainers like TOT to support people to be more engaged at a national and international level to the genomic activities. So we are able to support initiative for training in genomics, in sequencing, in bioinformatics, in this care buildings that where we are here. And this is really, really important for us for the sovereignty at the national and the international level. Quite excited to see that the Africa PGI 2.0 is really focused on this One Health framework. And thanks to what we have gained now, we have the capabilities and the capacities to move to the wastewater surveillance, to environmental surveillance, to the wildlife, where we can explore any type of genomic insights that can be of importance for public health. we have seen that with different activities so far. We use like a kind of mix with genomics and over a field of importance like xenosurveillance, where we are using those mosquitoes not only to control or to measure the burden of arboviruses, but also for non-arboviruses. So we can use genomics in different ways. We think that genomics is not only sequence and data, but also it's a context of, it's a way of how to merge it with a context. And we are talking about One Health, so this is definitely the perfect time, the momentum to merge what we have learned from Africa PGI to move to this Africa PGI 2.0. Sometimes we are facing a totally new pathogen like what we have with this COVID-19 pandemic. And only genomics is able to identify and to identify this new pathogen to allow us to construct a kind of pipeline to organize the stakeholders to fight and tackle any emergencies. So we have like at least those 2 points that shows that our genomics can be important. And we have a new aspect which is not only the pathogen but also the host. We have this interaction between the microbes and the people that are infected. And in that case, we need also to be focused on this interaction in terms of a genomic perspective. And in that way, genomics is just the microscope of the 21st century. So we need to use that in that way. It should be in a routine perspective. It should be democratized for Africa and for sovereignty of our continent.
So for us, I think PGI has been really transformative at all levels. First of all, for the training, getting a team of very high caliber, very high reliability people able to execute the whole workflow from wet lab to bioinformatics and delivering on time, clear and reliable results. This has been a first win. I think the second one has been to use the energy and the transformative force of PGI to fuel our pathogen discovery, our response activities. And the third, I would quote and mention the transformation of the bioinformatic approach to NGS. So we have been using the classical methodology, but we have been also working on a brand new way to do bioinformatics, basically unmanned. We are developing new formats to make genomic data truly computational. So that machines, instead of humans, would work with this format. You know that there is a big part of mystery in the African genome. Part of it is just unknown. And what we have been developing for pathogens will find a very natural application to human genetics. So it will be disease, not necessarily infectious, but chronic. Cancer, hypertension, diabetes, all these conditions are very prone in having a genetic factor. So we will probably translate all the knowledge, all the expertise, all the know-how generated during PGI into these new fields. And for the PGI2, I think the next frontier really is to reduce the cost. If you think about surveillance, most of the samples are negative. So you cannot charge and use the same kind of reagents for when you try to detect something or when you try to make surveillance. For surveillance, basically, we have to be smart, reduce the number of samples, reduce the cost per sample, and also reduce the human contribution. So machines have to do most of it. And for that, we are developing a new framework called genomic algebra, where mathematics is taking over goodwill, I would say, making everything faster, more computationally intensive, and also cheaper. So we believe that we have an edge to harness the power of PGI2 and bring something new to the community. So I think there are many aspects where we could improve, and especially I would start with the most important, the human factor. You know, bioinformatics is always changing, always evolving, and we have to keep pace with the novelties. And we have also to retain our people. So it's good to invest, it's good to train, but it's also very necessary to retain the people who are good. The second part is really automation. From the sample collection to the biobanking to the library construction, wet work, we need to automate even more. So this year we have acquired a very advanced robot for preparing libraries, and I think this will be the trend. Every day more robots, more machines, and using human brain for really the strategy and the communication of the results to the authorities. So I think as time goes by, the technical part will become more and more invisible, and the human part will become crucial. So being able to translate these very technical results into decision making, into policies, and into warnings. So I think we are just a little piece of the puzzle. We have a lot of talents, we have a lot of exposure, presence during epidemics, but we are really in need of synergizing with the rest of the continent. So it means platform for sharing data, platform for optimizing the supply and the purchase of all the regions, and also putting our technology to the service of others. It's really about sharing, it's really about building trust, and it's really about making sure that our technology is just not a technology, but it is something that will be translated into important and impacting decisions.